Yeah, hi there, Tregal, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass a TOEFL IBT. And you are one of my TOEFL Writing Bootcamp students and a TOEFL Speaking Bootcamp student. So you're working hard on both your speaking and your writing. And today you're doing the pronunciation pretest as part of your practice. And I'm going to take a look at your vowel and consonant sounds of American English to see if there's anything that you need to do to improve your intelligibility in these areas. All right, so here we go. So you're actually going to part A right now.
Hello, Michael. I am Rigal from Colombia. Thank you for this course and your support during all this process.
All right, you're welcome.
So I am here ready to start with the pretest for vowel and
You want to say I'm ready to start the pretest, not pretest, but pretest. So put stress on that first syllable.
consonant sounds.
Okay.
So let's start with the part A.
Now, first of all, when you say the word part, you need to pronounce that with more air. So part A, not Bart A, but part A. And the problem is Spanish has a different sound there. The P sounds more like a B, and it doesn't have as much air as we have in English. So you have to be really careful about that sound.
So I'm going to begin to read all the words
Okay.
as quickly and as naturally as I can.
Okay.
Bought, wrong, row, honor, over, father, so.
Now, I think with lesson 7, my main suggestion is that second sound, boat, grow, over, though. You just need to make that sound longer.
Pat, pot, map, mop, tack, talk, and, on, mac, mock. Bright, brown, broil,
Okay.
lie, loud, loyal, pie, pound, pound. Gate, get, late, let, mate, met, blade, bled, Dane, then.
Now, in lesson 10, similar to lesson 7, my advice is to make that first sound longer. Gate, get, late, let, mate, met. As you practice the lesson, I want you to make a conscious effort to really make that first sound longer. Blade, Dane.
Meet, pit, pit, lip, sit, hit.
Big trouble. This is the biggest problem so far, lesson number 11. Unfortunately, English has two different vowel sounds, the longer, more tense, and the shorter, more lax vowel here. So meet, met, peat, pit, leap, lip, seat, sit, heat, hit. Basically, you're saying meet, meet, peat, peat. You're not making that second sound, mit, pit, lip, sit, hit. So in lesson 11, you need to focus on both sounds, but the second sound, that's the one you do not have in Spanish, believe it or not. That sound does not exist, that vowel sound. So what you're doing is you're taking the vowel that you're familiar with and you're substituting it for that second sound. All right, so lesson 11 you need to work on.
Look,
It's look, Luke.
talk, tool, tough, could, cool.
Especially the first three sounds: look, Luke, luck, took.
Match,
Listen,
mash,
lesson 12, you can work on those three vowels. I'm going to recommend that. That's going to be important for you.
chip, ship, fissure, fissure, chafe, shaft, shear, shear.
Now, the hard part here, especially with match, mash, cheap, sheep. And then this is the one, that middle sound in lesson 13, feature, fisher. So lesson 13, you're probably not quite familiar with all the sound spelling patterns for these two sounds, especially the TU and the SU. So I think you can work on lesson 13.
Off, off,
No, it's off of,
half, half,
half, have. Notice when the F is at the end, the vowel before it's a little shorter. When the V is at the end of the word, the vowel before is longer. So half, have.
fine, vine,
Yeah, you want to try to pronounce it, but you're not quite. Fine, vine.
fan, van, wafer, waver.
So I think lesson 14 you also need to work on. And again, I think in Spanish the V is kind of like a B. For example, vaca, mu, vaca, or venir. You probably might say those sounds similarly in Spanish.
How, habit, who, rehash, behavior, hate, Batman, beaten, important, brightening, hat-rack, threatened.
Now, what I want you to focus on here, Trigal, in lesson 15 is the glottal stop. In American English, we don't really pronounce that T in the middle. We'll say Batman, bitten, important, brightening, hat rack, threatened. So it's important, even if you don't pronounce it, you want to be able to recognize that. So here's another word, mountain, instead of mountain.
Threatened. Major, measure, fragile, Fraser,
Yeah, this is a tough one. Lesson 16. You have major, measure, fragile, Fraser,
legend, lesion,
lesion, lesion. Think of it, that second sound, it's like a J and a Z kind of coming together to form that palatal consonant. J, 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 lesion, lesion.
engine, Asia, large, Asia.
Yeah, large Asia. So lesson 16, you need to work.
Cake, kick, sink, sack, came, game, cap, gap, lake, lack. Lean, rear, better. Luggage, rugged, udder, right, light, committed. Base, base, flap, flap, cap, cap. Lap, lab, bay, bay.
No, this one,
Lice, lice.
I think with the P lesson 19, again, the P, I told you part A, you got to pronounce that with more air, but it's even more complicated than that. You have these phonological rules with these voiceless consonants at the ends of words. Typically, the vowel is a little bit shorter. So I'll say flap, flab, cap, cab, lap, lab. So you also have to change the duration of the vowel before that B when it's at the end of the word. So that's something that you want to work on too. So I think definitely the lesson 19 is a lesson you're going to want to practice. Now you'll notice, Trigal, at the end of each of these lessons, I have 2 voice recordings that you can practice. And if you want, you can pick one of those voice recordings and send it to me for your daily practice. You can send it to my email and I will give you comments. I will tell you if you've mastered, I think, the sounds in that lesson. And I'm honest. I really am. I will be very direct, very straightforward. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. I'll let you know. All right? All right, let's keep going.
Is, zip, zip, zoo, zoo, maze, maze,
Mace, maze. Sip, zip.
Elisa, Eliza,
Eliza or Eliza. So I think in lesson 20, your focus is that Z, making sure that you're pronouncing that with a little bit more vibration than what you're doing. Lies, zip, zoo, maze, Eliza.
multiple, Robert, example, pressure, principal, number, people, philosopher,
Okay.
volcanism,
Just remember people, pressure. That P sound you have to pronounce with more air. That's the one I've already told you.
writing, maximum, question, summer, reason, chance, often,
Chasm or chasm, often.
tip, deep, card, card, tight, tight,
No, I think that T, sometimes when the T is in the beginning of the word, maybe before certain types of vowels, based on how you do it in Spanish, you're not always pronouncing the T with enough air. So tight, tide.
train, drain, fat, fad, team, dream,
Okay.
tight, tie, breathe, breathe,
So the first pair is thigh, thy. They're both interdental consonants. The first sound is a voiceless interdental consonant. The second one is a voiced interdental consonant.
seed, seed, through, thought, word, worthy.
Yeah, a lot of trouble with lesson 24 also. Okay, so you have worth, worthy. Okay, so far, what do we know, Trigal? Okay, I've written down some lessons I think you want to focus on more. You've probably been writing them down yourself. Here they are. Lesson number 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 23, and finally lesson number 24. Those are the lessons that you want to focus on the most, right? Based on the pretest. And as you go through those lessons, like I said, there's pronunciation practice exercises at the end of each lesson. And the good thing is, each lesson, it's about a 10 to 20 minute video, and it gives you a lot of practice with the sounds in that lesson, and that will be very important for you. I'm now going to listen to your pronunciation pretest part B, and we're going to see how you did in this area. Here, hold on a minute. Let me log back on here. Apologize for that. Okay, let's take a look at where we are again. So you're now going to answer 3 personal experience questions. I like my students to answer these 3 questions for 2 reasons. First of all, it gives me a chance to hear your spoken language, spontaneous spoken language, which is important. And it also, number two, it tells me a little bit more about you. So then I can tailor some of what I say that helps, it can help you in your situation, right? So let's get to part B, question number one. What is your educational background and your work history?
Now I'm going to answer to your three questions. So
Okay.
first, my educational background is biology. I
Okay.
am a person focused on marine biology.
I would say I am a person focused on. So that P, again, you need to pronounce that with more.
A researcher. Also, I
I would say a researcher, not researcher, researcher.
did a degree in microbiology, and during the last 8 years, I have been
Remember, during the last 8, not years, but during the last 8 years. What is that in Spanish? Años durante, I'm not sure how to say that in Spanish. Los años pasados.
working in Colombia to develop
To develop, to develop.
conservation, biodiversity conservation initiatives.
You want to say not initiatives, but initiatives, initiatives.
So
That sound you don't have in Spanish, that's the one that's really going to cause you a lot of trouble. That's
I
lesson number 11.
did a postgraduate or a master's in biological sciences. I finished last April, and now I was accepted in my dreamed program, which is the Masters in Conservation, Biodiversity and Management at the University of Oxford. And this
Wow.
take me to the next question. So,
Oxford, wow, that's a big school.
in order to be prepared, to be ready to achieve my goals in this new challenge that is.
Let's say in these new challenges, you want to make challenges 3 syllables because I think you want to put a plural S at the end of that.
To study at University of Oxford, my speaking and pronunciation abilities are pretty important. I have a condition and is the TOEFL exam. So I must take the TOEFL exam and to achieve 110 of a score. So
you want to get 100 points or higher.
I really are committed with.
I would say I really am committed, not are, because you're saying I am committed. So I am, you are, he, she, it is. So be careful of your subject verb agreement. That's a language use issue you want to also be careful.
The fact of improving my pronunciation and my speaking abilities. And I hope to achieve in this course the capacity to improve all the features related with pronunciation and speaking that are tested in the TOEFL IBT. Also, I hope to obviously develop new vocabulary, remember grammar structures, and increase my understanding of English. So I'm really happy to be here to receiving your mentoring, and let's finish now. Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you for doing this pretest, by the way. All right, I have a pretty good idea now. I can give you what's called an intelligibility score on a scale of 1 to 7, 1 being beginner speaker or high beginner speaker of American English, 7 being a near native speaker. So where are you right now? I'm going to put you at about 3.9 out of 7. So you need practice, right? That's why you're practicing. Now, I want you to write this down. See if you can find Toastmasters in the city that you live in Colombia. Again, toastmasters.org. It's TOASTMASTERS.org. This is a speaking group. It exists in more than 60 countries all over the world, probably. It's in Colombia. The question is there a speaking group close to you? If there is, join it. If there's not, I want you to think outside the box here. What are some things that you can do right now to give you more exposure to English? This is a very important question, right? Now, have you considered, you probably do this already, how about watching movies in English? Maybe 3 or 4 movies each week. Each movie is 2 to 3 hours. Watch it. Really pay attention to how the speakers speak. Spend time reading magazines, newspapers, and books in English. How about this? Have you changed your phone to only English? Have you changed your computer to only English? Are you using English on a day-to-day basis? Everything right now for you needs to focus around English. Getting 100 is very possible. I'm sure you can do this, but it also presupposes that you're getting more practice, more exposure to the language than what you're used to. And all of this extra practice and exposure, it'll help you to use English more naturally, including speaking, including writing, including reading and listening. You will improve in all those areas. So get the exposure. All right, thank you for doing the pretest. So now you know specific lessons that you can focus on to improve your vowel and consonant sounds of American English. You also know an intelligibility ranking. You're a 3.9 out of 7. If you want to score 26 points or higher on the TOEFL exam, you need to change this. When you complete the post-test in the pronunciation section of my course, you're looking to score 5.1 or higher. If you can score 5.1 or higher, that will almost guarantee that you can get at least 26 points on the speaking section of the exam, and that is going to help your overall TOEFL score. Am I right? Okay, good. Now here's my one rule. All of my students, as you can imagine, I teach students from all over the world, and I'm happy to teach you. My basic rule is this: don't send more than 60 seconds of speaking or pronunciation practice every 24 hours. That's my only rule. I promise, whatever feedback you send me, I will give you good, whatever practice, I will give you really good feedback on that. All right, and thank you for doing the pretest. And now start doing the speaking practice test. And remember that I have a lot of good lessons in the speaking part of my course to help you improve in 3 areas: delivery, language use, and topic development. That's my goal, to improve your speaking in those 3 areas. Today, we're dealing with the first goal, the first idea, the pronunciation, the delivery. All right.